Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm taking a look at the Viltrox 56 1.4 lens for Fujifilm. So yeah, just got my hands on this lens. So if you've been following the channel for a while, you might know that I use some of the other Viltrox lenses as well, the 23, the 33 and the 85. So the 56 fills that gap, doesn't it? And actually 56mm around that sort of focal length really suits my woodland photography, so I think this could be a really good tool for my woodland photography going forward. And today I'm going to give you my thoughts on the lens, do a few tests, do a few image samples, put together some video footage for you as well. So I'm going to put a pack together so you can go and download this footage and test shots for yourself, so you guys can see what you think, because it's all very well and good me giving you my opinion, but if you can see for yourselves, I think that's definitely the way to go. Also, during the video, I'm going to put a V in the bottom left hand corner for any clips or photographs that have been taken using this 56 1.4 lens, so you know, just in case I'm using a different lens like I am now to film with, because obviously I've got the 56 here. So yeah, I'm going to take a little wander through this woodland and give you my thoughts on this amazing new lens from Viltrox. So let's talk about the lens construction, you know, the build quality. Well, they're all metal, so every component on there pretty much is metal, apart from a few plasticky bits on the inside of the lens hood there. The aperture ring is non-clicked, so it's clickless and it rotates. And what I'm going to say is it is definitely more dampened than my 23 f1.4, so they've obviously added a little bit more dampening to this. It feels a lot better. The focus ring is lovely and smooth, as is with all of the others. Now what I would say as well, they tend to share the same body, so the 23, the 33 and the 56 all share the same body by the looks of it, so it's really nice as a set. You know, they all look pretty much identical. They all share the same 52mm filter thread as well, which is really nice, which means all of your lens hoods and lens caps are interchangeable. And actually, that's quite a handy thing. You know, I was shooting a wedding at the weekend. I've got the three lenses there in my bag. I'm swapping lenses all the time, running around like a lunatic, and it's really nice. You know, you can just grab a lens cap and put it on. You don't have to worry about getting the right one. So just the little things like that can sometimes make a big difference. The other two are petal shaped, whereas this one is just a flat-ended one. One thing I would say is on the inner side here, you've got this ridged inner part, which I think maybe diffuses the light, stops the light bouncing around perhaps as it enters the front of the lens. But what I would say is, if you're storing your lens hood on the front of your lens, you hear that? Sometimes, you know, if you don't put it on completely square, you just get this kind of rubbing, vibrating, grinding noise as you put it on. And essentially what that's doing is all of these little ridges, they're catching the front end or front edge of the lens here. I've noticed that with my 23, in a few parts there is some paint missing, and that's just due to me being careless when I'm attaching this, when I'm storing it on there. So, you know, if you do store your lens hood on the front of the lens like this, then that may be an issue, so you might want to take a little bit more care. Build quality is fantastic, as it is with all of the other lenses, and I'm really surprised how small they can get these 1.4 lenses. They're so compact, so lightweight, and yeah, absolutely fantastic in the terms of the way they look and feel on the Fuji bodies. This is mounted on the XH1, so yeah, really good quality, build quality. I can't fault that in any way, shape or form. I really can't. Anyway guys, I'm gonna have a little wander, see if I can take a few images with this before we head back to the studio. So a good test for any lens is to do a continuous autofocus test. So that's what we're doing right now. We've got the 56 on the X-T3 there. So hopefully it's tracking my face well. The aperture is f3.6. We're at 48th per second, 24 frames per second at 4K. Yeah, so I'm going to do a bit of a walk down this path here, and we'll see how well the face detection does on this lens, if it can keep up. So, seemed to cope pretty well with that continuous autofocus test. Now I have to say, I've been really impressed with the autofocus, especially for stills. It's really quick and zippy. But what I would say is for video use, that zippiness is not necessarily that desirable. Now I have gone into the menu and I've tried to change the menu settings to make the continuous autofocus slower, and you can do this and it works well for all the Fuji lenses. But I haven't been able to get it to work with any of the Viltrox lenses. I haven't been able to really change that speed. Not that I've been able to notice myself anyway. So that autofocus is very, very zippy. And like I said, it's probably not that desirable for shooting video. So if you want to rack focus between two objects, you want that to be quite a nice smooth transition between those two objects. We can't seem to get that, which is a bit of a shame, I think, on the Viltrox lenses. Now manually focusing is different. You know, you can easily manually focus between two objects. And I guess another little gripe I've got, although the focus ring is really, really smooth and easy to use, if you're using linear focusing, which I use, and you can change that in the menu settings on the X-T3, the X-H1, the X-T4, it's a much more accurate method of manually focusing. The focus throw is very, very long, so if you're focusing between infinity and something that's very close to you, you've got to really rotate that focus ring a few times before you can get from infinity to your near focus. Now obviously if you're shooting video, you don't want to be continuously rotating the focus ring. You're going to get shaky footage, so it'd be really nice if that focus throw was a lot shorter. So like if you're using a manual lens, you know, it might be 1 full turn or 3/4 of a turn from infinity to a meter, which is great. You know, you can just quite nice finely tweak your manual focusing. But with this, you've got to keep rotating, and it's a bit of an issue, to be honest. I'd much prefer if that throw was a lot shorter. Just a couple of little gripes really, but I have to say the autofocus is really, really good, and for stills it's so quick, it's really zippy, and the silent motor as well is really, really good. You can't really hear it at all for video. Like I say, that's what we're recording with now, so you shouldn't be able to hear any noise from the microphone. The microphone's just sat on top of the camera as well. I've not got a lav on, so you should be able to hear any noises from the lens if it's making any. But like I said, it's been pretty silent, and I've been impressed by that. I really have. Now, one thing I would say as well is the aperture blades can make a bit of a clicky noise when you rotate the aperture ring. So if you're shooting video and you want to transition between apertures, maybe to adjust your exposure, then you will hear a little click as you go through the aperture range every third of a stop increments. This has been a bit of a gripe on the 23. If you check my review video out for that, I go into that a little bit more in depth. The link for that is in the description. But I have to say, the Viltrox 56 takes beautiful video footage. It really does, especially when you throw the background like I am doing now out of focus. Like I said, we're at 3.6, and at f3.6 on a 56mm lens, we can get that really nice soft bokeh and enough depth of field to get all of my face in focus. So that's really nice. So yeah, all in all, I think that autofocus is great. Could be better for video, but you know, just small gripes. But yeah, really, really impressed overall. So let's talk about image quality. Now, before we get started, I'm not one to deep dive into an image and like pick it to bits. I like to see an image, how it looks on the screen, how it looks in print, overall, you know, in terms of like the colour rendition, the bokeh, the sharpness, all of those things. I'm not one for picking the bones out of an image, but I have to say, even when you do go in at 100% in Lightroom, these images look absolutely amazing. The video footage is truly stunning as well. Image quality wise, I've got really nothing bad to say about it. Obviously you're going to get a bit of fringing when you open the aperture up to like 1.4, but that's to be expected with most lenses, I'd say. And if you're, if that's a bit of an issue, you can always correct that really easily just with one click in, software such as Lightroom. So yeah, not really an issue. I really enjoy shooting with these. They're a really neat set of prime lenses. Like I said before, if you're interested in taking a look at the image quality, because YouTube obviously compresses everything and doesn't make everything look quite as nice as it does straight out of camera, you can go over to my website. There's a link in the description where you can download a test pack for some photos and a few different tests, some chromatic aberrations tests and some sharpness tests, and I'll put a few images and a few video clips in there. Feel free to go and grab those and see for yourselves what you think about this lens. Please do be sure to let me know in the comments. I'm loving it, I have to say. And yeah, really appreciate Viltrox for sending this out to me to test out. So yeah, thanks again to Viltrox. Anyway guys, that's it for this week. Please do check out next week's video. I'll see you then. Take care.